Hey folks, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us. We've got quite a bit to get through here, so I'm just going to try to give you a quick overview and then we'll get right to it. So for starters, there are 5 new captures in this video. 3 of them are mine and 2 of them I found online. And as it happens in terms of sequence, it goes every other one. So it starts with mine and ends with mine. The 5th one, the last of my 3, is the most dynamic, and so if you're going to hop around this presentation or not watch all of it for whatever reason, I highly suggest you just move to number 5 and watch that, because it's really interesting and hard to explain. All right, so also a few weeks ago I kind of polled everybody to see if there's any interest in finding out about the things I do, my methods and practices for keeping my vibrations high. I ended up doing an episode with Heidi Popp on her HIGHVIBE Hangout. And so I've included a link in the description for that podcast. We chatted for about 2 hours. It was a really lovely conversation. So if you're inclined to check it out, if not, then don't, no biggie. Yeah, so, all right, check these out and you'll see me periodically. I have some things to say about these videos. And then toward the end, we're actually going to get into a little Jack from Cosmic Road and some overlap with Skywatchers and Jacob Barber and his group. And yeah, so check it out. Let me know what you think. Let's get to it. All right, we're starting here with number 1. And, you know, this is a video I took in this past week. And I don't know how to explain it other than this thing changes direction remarkably fast. And once you see it in real time, you'll see what I'm talking about. And then obviously, I just don't know what it is. So there's that piece too. But yeah, look at this real speed. I mean, this thing just changes direction. I don't know. And it's very non-traditional in terms of its flight pattern. You know, it's not like something you see all the time. So I thought it was worth including. But the speed is just crazy. At any rate, here's number 2. And this is from the internet. And so we're starting with this bird because it's a bird and it's obviously a bird, and you'll see how slow it's going. But then you look over here and watch what pops up. And this thing just shoots up here and then slows, changes direction, and darts down. And again, this is a scrub through of that directional change at the sort of apex there. And we're going to get it a little faster, a little closer to real speed. And you'll see this thing just zip from the bottom right up and then hit that kind of pinnacle and then turn down, but it slows. So here it is in real speed. I mean, whatever this thing is, it's super fast, right? And again, I mean, the fact that there's a bird there is very helpful in my opinion, because it gives great context to the speeds involved here. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, but you know, and again, here's a little back and forth of that action there where it slows down. I mean, it almost like hits a wall. Compared to how fast it was going, it's just incredibly, you know, the way it can change pace and direction's nuts. So this is my second one, 3rd in total, and I included it because it's interesting, but it looks a lot like what we just saw in number 2. And this is it in real speed, and that's that point you're going to see it at right here. So let's check it out in real speed. It's like you can barely see it. I mean, I don't know what this thing is. I don't know what any of these things are. But they're very, very fast. And, you know, like I always say, they seem to be interested in the things in the sky. I don't know. So, all right, next one from YouTube. And this thing comes underneath the plane. And it looks, I mean, it's going really fast, obviously. But what's interesting is there's like this one frame right here, and in real speed, it looks like a light on the underside of the craft. See that? It's just a little blink. I mean, if you didn't know what to look for, you would just assume that was a flash, a light flash. But look, you can see it there before it's even underneath the plane, so we know it isn't. But I mean, this is how these things, you know, operate in plain sight, and our brains just explain it away without questioning things. Okay, so last week I shared this capture with you folks that I recorded myself recently. And I can see why some people might say that's just an insect in the foreground. I get it. that's fine. But in order to say that, then you also have to write off the fact that it seemed to descend on top of this helicopter, right? And so you just have to sort of chalk that up to whatever. And that's okay, I suppose. But if you see the same action enough times, eventually you have to say, okay, wait a minute, I can't continue to keep writing this off, right? And so look what happened this past week. Check this out. And this is number 5, which is the most dynamic one. It comes from the bottom and zips around while it's blinking, changing colors. And it starts out down here and it sort of futzes around at the bottom. And then it's like once it decides to come up, it starts blinking here. And then it approaches, zips around, and then continues on. And when you see it in real speed, it's just ridiculous how fast this is. I mean, watch this. I mean, whatever this is, it's moving faster than anything that I'm aware of. And I've never seen anything move that fast with maneuverability, concurrent maneuverability. And that's what catches my eye more than anything. And then you add to it that it's blinking and it doesn't have wings and all these other things, and you're just left with tons of questions. But this is why I think this is a dynamic capture. And, what it's doing, I mean, I don't know. I'm just left with so many questions, but it's repetitive. We see it all the time. And so you cannot just write it off to nonsense when it's always happening. So this is the first one we saw here. And like I said, it has a non-traditional trajectory. I don't know what to make of it, but it was very, very fast. And then the second one, the bird goes by and then this thing goes by, I don't know, 10 times faster. And then something very similar that I captured, zipping by. And then this one where you see it up there and then you see it again right here and it's, not a light. And then this fifth one is just blows my mind because this thing literally approaches and goes around a helicopter at Mach whatever while it's blinking. So like I said at the outset, we're going to check out some Cosmic Road with Jack Connor. And so in the segment, which is recent, and I've posted a link in the description for it so you can check it out in full if you'd like, and I recommend it. He's talking about Jake Barber and the Skywatcher program and the designation of these different classifications of UAP, right? So let's listen to this.
One of his favorites is Class 3, the Blob. Materializes and dematerializes instead of flying in and out.
So this is interesting because I captured something last year around the same time, actually end of March 2024, and I was referring to them as blobs because they weren't coming in and out of screen. They were just appearing and then they were splitting up and regrouping from 1 to 2 to 3 to 1. It was very kind of interesting footage. Here it is again. And this is from episode 24, which was entitled Dodger Stadium Flyover. You should check it out. It's really interesting. But I was calling these things blobs. And that's not to say that they're the same thing, Jacob Barber and Skywatchers capturing. But that's what I was calling them then. Also from that same episode, number 24, I captured what appears to be a jellyfish UAP. Unfortunately, it was, an iPhone 13, 30 frames per second, not super clear, but it was clear enough to see that it was a jellyfish UAP. Yeah, again, that's episode 24. Check it out. Here it is again quickly. These blobs are unique, I'll say that. They're very difficult to explain. But yeah, anyway, let's get back to Jack.
Jake's post here made me realize, hey, we could do like a poll of the 9 categories of UAPs, listed by Skywatcher. Which one is your favorite? Now, I'm kind of tempted to say the Blob because I love the 1980s remake of the Blob. I think that's a fantastic action horror movie.
Seems like a pretty obscure reference, right? Well, maybe to some, not to others. And I'm one of the others in this scenario because as it happens, my dad was in that movie, The Blob, the remake from 1988. So yeah, check this out. He played Moss Woodley. He had a snowblower shop, And yeah, he was prominently featured character in this movie. You know, in fairness, the movie's almost 40 years old, so spoiler alert, the Blob ends up being killed by the cold. And so the snowblower that my dad operates and repairs ends up being critical. So yeah, check this out.
What a rush.
Hey, man. I told you we'd get snow. You gotta have faith. What if I'm covered for this sort of thing? Dave, bring in the dump truck. We better get this thing to the ice house before dawn.
Yeah, so there's my dad then in 1988, and there he is now in 2025, a proud veteran. And for those of you who are interested, his name is Bo Billingsley. You should Google him. He's big in the anime world as well as the on-camera world. And, you know, again, check out Cosmic Road. Jack Connor has great content. And for those of you that are interested in the vibratory things that I do, check out the interview on High Vibe Hangout from a couple weeks ago with Heidi Popp. It's episode 43. And like I said earlier, the description's in the show notes. All right, folks, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. See you on the next one.